great event. I've heard a lot of things that actually resonate to me in the journey that we're having with the ocean cleanup in using AI and data science to actually make cleaner oceans. So I'm Bruno Sainte-Rose, I'm the Lead Computational Modeler. And who knows about the ocean cleanup in the audience? All right, so I will start off with a little movie about how we roll.
There's bad news for our ocean.
A patch of floating trash and plastic in the Pacific Ocean is getting worse by the day.
The problem is even worse than originally thought.
At the Ocean Cleanup, we develop advanced technologies to rid the world's oceans of plastic.
Today, we'll be launching the world's first ocean cleanup system, heading towards the Great Pacific Garbage Patch.
We have to clean up what's in those ocean garbage patches. You can either be part of the problem or part of the solution, and with the Ocean Cleanup, we hope to be part of the solution.
So last week, I was in Glasgow for an offshore and fluid mechanics conference, and I must tell you that machine learning is a real hype there. While there were empty rooms for some of the sessions, all the machine learning ones were really packed. So it's definitely some places you need to look for. And in this same conference, there was this professor from Oxford University which was giving a distinguished lecture about how the Navier-Stokes equations, which are the base of fluid mechanics, were made. And he was coming up with some nice quotations from philosophers and scientists for the 17th and 18th century, like Isaac Newton, Leonhard Euler. And I looked in some nice quotations that I could start my speech with from these times, but they were not talking about AI or data science. So I had to find one a little more contemporary from Jeff Weiner, the founder of LinkedIn. Data really powers everything that we do. Okay, it might sound a little simplistic nor philosophical, but I think it really encompassed how AI and data science really powers the virtuous triangle that might make cleaning the oceans possible. So let me just run you through the three pillars of this virtuous triangle. So first of all, we start off with the problem, plastic pollution in the oceans. At the Ocean Cleanup, we're actually developing technologies to actually solve this problem, which is the second pillar, the cleanup technology. Then we have our stakeholders, which can be individuals, which are companies that are supporting us in our mission. And all these bubbles are actually connected, which actually makes this triangle. So first of all, you need to know about the plastic pollution and have some field measurements that will actually inform you how to make better cleanup systems and efficient ones to actually solve that problem. Then, once you know about this problem, it's good that you communicate to these stakeholders and to these individuals to actually bring awareness, and in return, engage them into some citizen science projects that will also improve our knowledge of the problem. And finally, of course, we are doing technology, therefore very CAPEX and OPEX intensive activities, so we need some resources. So then, based on our technology, we're actually telling our story so that we communicate to these stakeholders, and in returns, we actually get support and resources from these people. So in the next 3 slides, I will actually run through examples of how we're using data science for each of these bubbles. So I will first start with the data science in technology development. So in September, 8th of September, we started our first mission with our first cleanup system that was actually collecting a lot of data that was really coming from different suppliers, different quantities were measured in different fashions. And so it was coming from different sources, coming from some satellite communications and stored in HTTP websites or on FTPs or in SQL tables, etc. So we really had to do a lot of data logistics. And we were actually able to use a DSS platform to actually organize all this data to make it available to the engineers or to the data scientists. Then once you have all this data all plugged in your data lake, data science platforms make it possible to actually carry out your data analysis and also make some nice visualizations to actually understand what's happening with your system. And then finally, we were also able to leverage some of the machine learning capability to actually understand what simple models could not understand. So that's for the technology development part. Now, on actually a better understanding of the problem, we're also leveraging the deep learning to actually measure the pollution problem. So the problem that we're dealing with is to actually be able to quantify the amount of plastic that is floating in different type of waterways. Would it be the very vast ocean where the garbage patches are located, or actually the amount of plastic that is flowing in the rivers? So here are the 3 examples that we have. So the one on the left is an actual satellite image where we could actually spot different debris. On the top right, you have an example of a camera that is looking at a river mouth, and then we developed an algorithm that is able to see the difference between plastic items and also organic material, which is very important if we want to quantify the amount of plastic that is flowing in. And then finally, to monitor the cleanup operations, we also had to come up with some drone imaging to also spot the amount of plastic that was collected. And then, when you start doing deep learning, things like that, you also need to label this data. Therefore, we also used a platform that allowed for every citizen to actually contribute in the labeling of this data. So finally, the last bubble is the stakeholders' ecosystem management. The ocean cleanup started in 2012, and everything ever since was all the money that we got and the partnerships and all the in-kind contributions that we got were thanks to the very good PR and communication work that we've been doing. So first of all, there is a way to actually engage the communities by mapping the different studies that we made, the different measurements that we made, such that all this data is available and freely downloadable for everyone. So with very nice visualization and dashboarding tools. Then, based on the amount of returns and all the PR that built up around the project, we needed to really understand and really map the crowd that is engaging with us by doing PR analytics and doing things like sentiment analysis. And then finally, at the ocean cleanup, when we'll start getting all this plastic out of the ocean, the idea is to relieve the people from actually giving us a lot of money by generating a little bit of income. So we will have to go into a bit of marketing because the plastic that we'll be recycling will be used to develop some products that won't eventually not end up in the ocean, like you can think about sunglasses and things like that. So then we really need to come up with using data science for our marketing and also a nurturing program to, on the one hand, gratify the ones that are helping us and who are really supporting us, and on the other hand, engage with those who are critical to us in order for them to sort of change their mind. So now I will finish my talk. So I actually lied at the beginning because I said I wouldn't talk about these 17th century scientists. So I will finish by this quotation from Isaac Newton, standing on the shoulders of giants. What I mean by that is that what matters when you're doing innovation is not to reinvent the wheel all the time and to benefit from all the knowledge and all the technologies that have been developed by very nice software companies such as Dataiku. And for that, I am very grateful that we are part of this Ikigai program that really powers all our activities. And well, I'll thank you for your attention, and I'll be glad to meet you guys if you need more information about the ocean cleanup.